I wanted to do a couple of videos about this particular Sankyo Stellar 2000 Pachinko machine. This dates to about 93 or thereabouts based on the chips inside. I got this machine from a Goodwill Outlet store. It's in marginal condition. It was apparently left outside, as you can tell by the fact that some of the wood pieces have delaminated and separated. Also, there's a lot of pitting and rust that has formed on the metal surfaces. All of the you can see some rust here. I've tried to clean up a lot of it. Um, the machine had about 50 balls in various places inside the machine. They were oftentimes rusted in place and in places where balls aren't even supposed to be. It was kind of a mess. So in figuring out how things are supposed to work, I figured it would be useful to share some of this information because I had a hard time finding it. So a pachinko machine is a little bit like a pinball machine in that it has a plunger which fires balls up the playfield. They go around this circuit. If they have enough power, they'll clear this little one-way gate and then they'll bounce around the playfield. If they don't have enough uh, momentum to clear the gate, they will roll back down here, fall back down in, and come out this bottom tray as a misfired ball. Um, Otherwise, they go up here, they bounce around the various pins and hit various targets. What do the targets do? Most of them don't do anything. These colorful spinners will light up at various times, but they don't actually do anything other than just move the ball around the playfield. Um, there are some specific things that you can hit that will cause the machine to pay out. You see that this is a 7 and 15 machine. What that means is that in various holes, you will pay out 7 balls, and in other very rare circumstances, it will pay out 15 balls. I'll be explaining a little bit more about that. Um, the, the 7 ball payouts are from these holes here where you can drop a ball in during normal gameplay. The balls themselves disappear into the back. You don't get them back, but the machine will pay out 7 other balls in its place. Um, this is a somewhat different kind of payout target, but it does the same thing. It's just that the ball lands in this top hopper. When this little cup rotates up to the top, it picks up the ball, and as it rotates around, it drops the ball through. So you still get your 7 payout balls. Um, if the ball manages to hit nothing of any value, which most do, it will end up down here, which is the gutter, and those balls get returned to a collection tray in the back and giving you nothing for it. In terms of how this works, this upper tray is where balls are placed to be able to shoot balls with the plunger. The balls that are in this tray, you either start by filling this tray when you're starting your gameplay, and also the payout balls will come out of this chute from the mechanism in the back. You have to have balls in this if you want to be able to shoot balls, but you can also operate the mechanism without balls. So this is the mechanism that operates the plunger. You rotate this dial, it controls the strength of how hard the plunger hits, but it won't actually hit anything until you touch this metal band at the same time. And I can possibly explain a little bit more about why they separate that function. When you do that, the machine recognizes it, and you'll see a light come on up here that lets you know that you're in active shooting mode, playing mode. Um, the the lighting on this board is all on this machine is almost all 24 volts AC. And there's a lot of lights in here. There are 2 lights in here. There's a handful of lights around the outside here and here. There's a light here, a light here. There are lights under the various targets that come on at different times. There are a few LEDs too. Those are powered separately. All those bulbs are 24 volts. All of them are very very special bulbs that are called grain of wheat bulbs. And what I have found is that you can, although I don't know what the original spec is, these bulbs that I have in here from Chicago Electric, model 2187, will serve. They will serve in place of whatever the originals were. They're rated for 28 volts, but they have the correct brightness. And so the one exception to that is the bulbs all the way across this top unit. This top unit only lights up during the fever mode, quote unquote, and I'll show more about that later. But these are not 24 volts AC. This is a full wave rectified 24 volt output. So it loses a little bit of voltage going through the rectifier, and it's not smooth. So you have kind of a ripply 120 hertz rectified DC of about 21 volts or so. And so all of the bulbs across here, there are 6 bulbs total on the sides, and then these 2 in the middle, all flash simultaneously. So there isn't anything separate for that. This unit had the top broken, and there are supposed to be plastic clear, or these red plastic things are supposed to be over each side, and I don't have those, but maybe I will be able to get those at some point. This center section is a kind of a slot machine function that once activated, you get a chance at entering fever mode, but you have to hit all 3 numbers identical to get into fever mode. And the chances of that are something like 1 in 300. So you got to play a lot of balls to be able to get into fever mode. And anything other than getting all digits equal will not activate fever mode. And to get into the mode to even try it, you have to drop a ball into the slot that says try. That actually just drops the ball straight through, but there's a fair chance that it will drop into this hole here, which will also give you a payout. So the bottom slot here, as I mentioned earlier, any rejected balls that don't manage to make it up into the play field will drop down here. The other function is that balls that are in this top tray that you have either poured in or that you have won from a payout can be transferred down into the bottom tray simply by sliding this lever. And I can put some balls in there just to demonstrate that. And you slide it, and away they go. Now, what that gives you is that gives you the opportunity then, if you want to drain these balls out for whatever reason, you put a catch basin underneath. There's a lever down here that you slide to the left, and as you do that, it will open up a trap door in the bottom, and the balls will fall out. This actually becomes a useful issue in certain elements of the fever gameplay when things get very hectic, and you can actually overload the machine with backed up balls if you're not able to get the balls drained out fast enough. And perhaps I can demonstrate that at some point in a later video. This thing is just an ashtray. So if you're a smoker, there you go. You can have your very own ashtray. This machine, of course, is normally kept closed and it would be locked, although I don't have the key, so I've jimmied the lock. The unit in its natural setting in an arcade or a Pachinko hall or salon or whatever it's called would be set into a receptacle in the wall that would be made specifically to fit these machines. And I don't know what that receptacle looks like. So there aren't normally legs on it. And I have added the legs so that the unit will stand up. Otherwise, they're very top heavy. They weigh about 45 pounds without balls in them. And they're very awkward and difficult to handle if you don't have some way to prop them up or attach them to a wall or something like that. The The unit is, this unit's been wired for 120 volts AC. I think it was done here in the United States based on the wiring condition and things like that. So anyway, this is kind of a introduction for the machine itself in the front, and then I will do an additional video or videos after that to talk about the back and more of the functionality. Thanks.